Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Jason Mackey's First 10, short version podcast, talking all things Pittsburgh sports. Today is Wednesday, August 20th. I'm actually recording this after the Pirates' 4-0 victory over the Texas Rangers, where Mitch Keller was really, really good. Going to get into that, talk a little Oneil Cruz as well, maybe some Steelers, but I actually, of all things, want to lead talking about Pitt football. Wrote a column about the running game with the Panthers and how important I think that is. Been kind of sitting on that for a couple of days and wanted to put it out there. But this is something that since learning more about Kade Bell's offense, and obviously we've talked a lot this offseason about Nate Yarnell, Eli Holstein, who's going to be the quarterback, how much they learn this system, how quickly can they play, how many plays can they run in a game, why are they running, all of these things that have been digested. Well, doesn't remove the running game from being important. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think a big part of them going 3-9 was an ineffective running game. And some of the numbers that I cited in there, the offense averaged 20.2 points per game last in the ACC. I don't think it's unrelated to averaging just 101.9 rushing yards per game, totaling only 356 attempts, which is extremely poor, and averaging just 3.4 yards per attempt, just two worse in the ACC. So what do you do? Well, one, you're going to be operating more out of the spread formation. We know that. Desmond Reid is a guy who came to Pitt from Western Carolina, where Kade Bell was. I think another component that we're going to see this season, Rodney Hammond Jr., who has been around at Pitt for a long, long time. I made a joke in my column. I think he shared a backfield with LaShawn McCoy or Dion Lewis or something. He's been around for a while, but has been productive. Hasn't been used a ton. I find that odd. He's never had more than 118 carries in a season, but that's probably your biggest, most frequent backfield tandem. Derek Davis Jr. Is a gateway kid. He's coming back. Was at LSU, transferred, changed positions. He could play a part. Daniel Carter, some other guys in the mix, but the two biggest names you're probably going to see, at least at this point, Rodney Hammond Jr. and Desmond Reid. Reid's a little bit more of a scat back, definitely a speed guy, can get downfield about 175 pounds, but was highly productive in Western Carolina. 1,723 rushing yards in 2 seasons, 17 touchdowns. Knows the system, knows what Kade Bell wants. And I'm not discounting Hammond either. Hammond talked at his last media availability about what a great partnership they've already forged, and also talked about moving around the formation a little bit, which I think is an interesting wrinkle when you talk about the Pitt running backs and having to, be a little bit more productive, be a little bit more versatile, do things differently in a spread system than you might otherwise do. So we'll see. That's a Pitt topic. We're going to get into some Penn State stuff tomorrow. For anybody who's sort of new to this, I've adopted college football as like my favorite new sport. Got out of it for about a year or two. Have really gotten back into it. Going to be covering some of it. Going to be talking about a lot of it. So excited about that. So there's your college football couple of minutes for the day. I guess I'll finish up with a little football stuff over at Steelers today. Arthur Smith talked, and I actually thought it was a reasonably good job giving some perspective about the preseason. There's a lot of struggles going on with the offense and concerns and this, that, and the other. Some numbers from Jerry Dulac's story. I didn't realize it was this bad myself. 124 yards, 6 first downs. Longest run has been just 9 yards. Longest pass, 20 yards. 5 sacks allowed. Russell Wilson, 5 series play, didn't produce a first down until the middle of the second quarter against Buffalo. Justin Fields hasn't been much better, generating just a field goal. Well, what do? There's nothing you really can do. I think the Steelers' offense come the regular season is going to look quite a bit different schematically than it has looked to this point. They really haven't done much with Pat Freiermuth and he's going to be an important part of stuff. I know I talked yesterday about the wide receivers and there's, legitimate concern. There should be concern about all of it. I mean, none of it has been good enough, obviously. But what Arthur Smith said, and I thought was interesting and stuff that made me think a little bit, he even drew a parallel back to Tennessee in 2019, where they were terrible in the preseason. Then the first week they scored 40 plus. He said, I'm not saying we're going to score 40 plus against the Falcons, but that's obviously the goal, and you need a little bit of context there, which you do. I mean, it's not right to freak out over the preseason. However, It hasn't been good enough. Hopefully it's something to get things tightened down a little bit. I do think, and I agree with Arthur Smith in this, that the mistakes the Steelers are making are largely controllable. And what I mean by that, the center quarterback exchange was a big deal in the first week. Can't do that. Creating 3rd and longs for your team, either via penalties or poor blocking. Broderick Jones was a part of that. You're not setting yourself up for success. And that's really, that has eaten up a lot of the 8 drives that we've seen out of the first team offense. They've done stupid stuff. They've had poor performances. They've made mistakes, and it has cost them. And they haven't been able to, sort of get back on schedule, like they say, or convert 3rd and longs, which you don't necessarily expect them to do. Anyway, all right, so I have a mid-roll ad per our usual here at First 10, and going to come back and talk a little bit of Pirates with you. But first, a little message from our friends in Bradenton.
Embrace the laid-back charm of island life while sinking your toes in the sand and discovering real, authentic Florida in the Bradenton area. Unspoiled beauty and pristine beaches, a vibrant waterfront downtown energized by local arts and culture, fresh Floridian cuisine with a flourish of rich history, and friendly locals ready to welcome you to this preserved paradise on Florida's Gulf Coast. Plan your visit today at BradentonGulfIslands.com.
And welcome back to First 10. Thank you, as always, to our friends at the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. I was actually thinking about that area down there and missing it. And Noah Hiles, who's taken over for me, along with Andrew Destin, has started looking at spring training places. And they were asking me questions. I was getting a little nostalgic about spring training. But in any case, we'll leave that. Need to react to some existing Pirate stuff. And boy, was Mitch Keller good, huh? That's as good as I've seen him. Just absolutely spectacular. 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts. Pirates cruise to a 4-0 win. Keller, some of the numbers on him, crazy. Just 25 balls thrown, 0-2 count to just 11 hitters, 12 times retired a guy in 3 or fewer pitches, 17 first pitch strikes, enjoyed a 5-pitch 3rd inning. Man, that is cruising. Really, really good stuff from Mitch. That's the upside. And I want to get into Oneil Cruz as a bit of a column topic, but it was kind of a hollow feeling, was it not? It's such a well-pitched game. Keller goes 7, leaves a runner. Chapman comes in, gets a double play ball. Bednar finishes it off. Exactly what you would want. You're winning a series in August in Texas. Should feel sort of good about it. At the same time, I'm looking at the Pirates 59-66, 13 and a half games back in the division, 8 back in the wild card. I don't know. I mean, people care, but that 10-game losing streak was just so darn costly. We're going to look back at some point and sort of analyze that, feel bad about it, get upset about it, not understand it, all these different emotions. Like I still think, I'm looking at Jared Jones, for instance, in Indianapolis tonight was outstanding. 5 innings, 1 hit, a walk, 10 strikeouts. He's right. He's going to make his next start in Pittsburgh, and he's going to be really good. And you're looking at Skeens. You're looking at Mitch. You're looking at Jared Jones, Bailey Falter, what they've done. Luis Ortiz at this point could maybe be your 5th starter. Of course, you're probably going to go to 6 to space out starts. But my point is that you have the starting pitching to give yourself a chance to win games, to create positivity. And they didn't take advantage of it. And now, it's such an uphill climb. I'm not saying they can't do it, but overcoming 8 games in the wild card chase at this point, boy, it's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. And I want to go through at some point on a quiet morning and sort of pick apart that 10-game losing streak. And I know what happened. I watched it just like you did. You can point to managerial decisions, whether it was the Jock Peterson game, Oneil Cruz, some crazy errors in Houston, and a whole lot of errors throughout that stretch. Some stuff Derek Shelton did. Colin Holderman pitched poorly. David Bednar pitched poorly. The offense went to sleep at various times. I understand. I watched the same baseball games you did, but man, I don't know. Maybe I'm a sicko for it. I'm going to make myself throw up. But it's just crazy that 10-game stretch can be that darn costly. And speaking of Cruz, I wanted to allow a little bit more time for this. I'm kind of out of it. Just how confounding he can be. And I'm talking about something like the top of the 4th inning. 2-2 curveball down. Sticks his bat out. You and I were lucky to get that out of the infield. With him, goes off the wall. And at the same time, he's standing there watching it for 80 feet. When he could have been running, and it could have wound up as an inside the park home run. And what do you do with it? What do you do with that? You can sit there and yell and get mad. I'm not sure it's going to achieve anything. You would like to see Oneil Cruz take a little bit more ownership of his own career and things that can happen. He is more talent than can fit in a room. He's so fun to watch. He's so physically gifted. And there are times where he's extremely locked in. I think since the All-Star break, it's been one of them. Sportsnet Pittsburgh flashed a graphic here that I thought was outstanding. Since June 30th and entering Tuesday's game, hitting .342 with a 1.086 OPS against left-handed pitching. That's really good, and that's improvement. And he's shown other stretches defensively where he's improved. And he's also shown stretches where his head is in the darn clouds. I don't know where to go with that. He's still a young player. I understand. But it's just like, why are you watching a ball go off the wall? Just run it out. Not hard. But, you look at that and say, dude, you just dropped your barrel on the ball and it goes 367 feet or whatever the heck it is. So it'll get there. I mean, I do believe Oneil Cruz is making strides. It has been a crazy, confounding, frustrating, all of those words, amazing, exhilarating, scary, ride for all of us, for him, for the Pirates. Just, glad that he's able to keep doing it and maturing. But yeah, you wouldn't really want to see him staring at any more balls off the wall. All right, Pirates face an important rubber match in Texas. We'll be talking about that. I'm sure more stuff college football related, have something on Penn State in the hopper, as well as some Steelers talk. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can get all of that, as well as other stuff from our columnists and writers at the Post-Gazette. Talk to you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.